Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. Sorry, we're a few minutes behind. I'm very excited to share all my secrets of equity letters. They're not secrets because I share them with everybody, but we can pretend they're secrets. So several of you have done equity letters with me, but the concept that we're going to focus on today, guys, is how to come up with continuous equity letters as well. So we're going to go through the process because I believe if you give you a fish, you only can eat one day. But if I teach you to fish, you can get lots and lots more listings. So that's the goal, right? I want you to be able to do these letters anytime you want. We've had huge success with them. I'm going to tell you, every time Tatiana sends them out, she gets listings. She gets people calling to thank her for her letters. So, all right, we're going to get started. So we're not going to go into today how to decide the community, right? Because,
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, can everybody see my screen? All right. Let's see. Let's go into Matrix. Ooh. I think I'll probably have to log back in. So everybody log into Matrix. Matrix. It's always quiet, but when it's worse if it echoes. Okay. So I'm going to say in my romper room way, good morning, Carolyn. Good morning, Migdalis. Good morning, Kim, Bruce, and Rafe, and April, and hi, Dana. How are you? And Barbara, and Rainey, and Kelly, and Tony, and Mark. Oh, it's my romper room day. Okay. Here we go. All right. And here comes Dexter. Okay. So a couple things we need to do. One is you want to open up your Stellar MLS, and we're going to open up Stellar, and we're going to open up Remind. All right. Now. There we go. Got Remind opening up. A little slow. Okay. So we are going to do a quick little residential search. We're going to quickly look in, where should we look? Windermere. I want to see what has sold in the last 365 days. And I'm going to say results. And then I'm going to go ahead and look at subdivision. Office name. Oh, I love to see Premier Sotheby's first. That was so fun. Okay, subdivision name. So what I look for, guys, I can start. Now, if you're downtown like Rafe, you cannot start in RSP Pro. We found out it does not work because there's no definitive lines of communities. But, you can always start an RSP Pro like we looked at for looking at turnover rate and all of that. But today's not training that about that, but I want to do like a quick overview of once you're in the MLS. The other thing I like to do is I like to see where I see a lot of sales. So that's shocking. Guys, look at this Valeria. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only like 29 homes. Now, this is where I would pull out RSP Pro just to see the number of homes that are actually in the community, because you really can't get that from the MLS. That's one of those things you can't find in the MLS. So I also will have this open oftentimes just to give me that data so I can compare how many homes are in the community. So Valeria has 64, and they say they're condos. That's the biggest condos I've ever seen. Now, how many did I say sold? 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on, Barbara. Okay. That's 7.8% turnover. Okay. Anybody looking for a community to farm in Windermere? These homes, let's look at these prices. 1.2, 1.5, 1.2, almost 3, 1.5 and a half, 1.7. That's my kind of community, guys. So I could even from here just highlight those specific homes. I don't have to actually go pull the community for the moment. And I can say, let's Belmere, get that out. I can go to stats, tabular. Did it do it? Hello, There. And it'll pull up my selection. So I don't have to go back in, search it by community at this particular point. And I can see that average sales price is 1.46. Guys, I like that. Anybody in this group like that? That's a really good average sales price. Now, average days on market are 173, but at that price point, I don't think it's horrible. Anybody out there feel it's horrible? So this could be a good equity letter. So I'm going to now go back and see if I can make sense, because a community could be a good farm and not a good equity letter. A community could be a good equity letter and not a good farm. They're not necessarily the same thing. Right now, what I have indicated is this is a good farm because your turnover ratio is good. I mean, average sales price is good. Yeah, it takes a little long to sell, so I'd probably couple this as a farm with a community that was a little lower priced, a little more meat of the market that moved quicker, right? Because then I can balance out my listing inventory, right? You want to diversify. So this would be if I had a budget and I said, okay, I could spend XYZ dollars. There's only 63 homes in here. That's not a lot of money to put into that. So I might say, okay, I'm going to take this community and that community, that kind of thing, and break it up. But let's see if this makes a good equity letter. So how do we do that? We have to go back. Now I know some of you know, because Luce was working on this with me yesterday. Go back to criteria. Let us do this. By the way, I like to copy how they write it in the MLS. I don't know if you guys ever do that, because a lot of times I find that when you try to type it in, for some reason, they can't find it. Don't know why. So we go back to criteria. And let's see if this makes a good farm, good target prospecting, which is my equity letter. Or not, criteria. Okay. So now I'm gonna look, I can look at a couple things. I feel like we're in quarter two. I like the quarter one versus quarter two. May or may not work in this community, only 5 homes sold, right? So, but we can check it out. So I might say 1/1/2020, 2/4/1/2020. And I'm gonna write Valeria. And only 1 home sold. So if I check that out, based on this one, without even checking it, like that's not really enough data to compare, or is it? Let's see what happens in 2021. No homes sold. So I find myself saying this is a good farm, but not a good equity letter. We just don't have enough information. We could look at year over year. So let's take a peek at that, shall we? But see, you don't want to compare to 2019. That's the problem. So let's see if anything sold at all this year. Live one. Only 1 home sold this year. So it's really hard to do a comparison when you're like, oh yeah, all these things are selling and they've had 1 home. And when there's 63 homes in the community, they know only one of their neighbors sold, right? You can't be like, oh, your neighbors are selling for so much more. So right there, I say, that one does not make a good equity letter. Everybody with me?
But it could be buyer's for it, right? Like,
You have something wrong there.
What, Luz?
Something wrong with the days. You have like a 0 to, okay, you deleted.
I just changed it, but 0 to 365 days. Now I want to go back and look at Windermere again and see what we can see sold. So we see that Valeria is a good farm, but I wouldn't make it a good equity letter. So let's clear these suckers. Bye-bye, thank you. And let's see if anything else looks good.
Elmer Village.
Belmere Village, which Tammy is farming. Look at Butler Bay. Anybody doing Butler Bay?
No, Ginger is.
Let's see Butler Bay. Who's Ginger? 181 homes.
Me either.
Great. I got the 2 gingers in the company. They're not doing it. That's funny.
Ginger works, she was with Realty Executives and she's with Folio now. She lives in that neighborhood and she and her husband were super, super instrumental during that period of time where the golf course was going belly up. So she's kind of got a little bit of a corner there.
Let's see if we see Ginger.
She's not with
But look, right here, what's Ginger's last name?
Jarvis.
But I
See?
thought, I think she's in Windermere Club, not Butler Bay.
Where?
Oh, you know what, Kelly, you're right. I'm sorry. But I think they kind of,
Yeah, they're
They
close
had-
to each other.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
but Folio, she's down here. And that community's, oh yeah, she sold one.
Yeah,
so
she
yeah.
hasn't been as busy lately, I noticed.
So Butler Bay, let's take a little peek at Butler Bay. I don't think anybody's doing Butler Bay. Where is Butler Bay? I can't picture this in my head. Anybody?
I think it's in Windermere.
It is in Windermere because we pulled that zip code. Very good. I'm so glad you're paying attention. Okay, 13 out of 181. Yeah. Let's see what this looks like. 181. Turnover 7.1, 7.2. Not fabulous, but let's take a peek, shall we? Because it could be maybe not a great farm, but it could be a good equity letter, right? This is where we differentiate between equity and farm. Oh, and why I went to remind yet, I don't know.
One street on Lake Crescent.
Okay, so we're gonna say, let's see, 1/1, 2021, 2, 4/1, 2021. 3. Let's go to 5/1. It's not really the first quarter, but what does it do? 4. All right, let's go back to. Okay, we have 3 homes that have sold. Let's take a peek at these 3 homes. Oh, I like the prices. Let's see the stats of these homes. All right, the average close price, which we know is totally thrown off by that $1.6 million sale, brings it to 107. What does that say to me though? Could be a good equity letter. Because I'm using data, right? It is the average sales price. Very nice. I'm also gonna look at the average sold per square foot, 270. I should have brought a pad in here. I didn't. Can somebody write that down for me? Average close price is 1,079,079,333. Actually, can you do me a favor? Just give me a piece of paper. I'm just lucky I made it in here. Forget about bringing a pad. Okay. So this is Butler Bay. I have 181 homes, right? I know that. In the last Q1 2021, this is 2021, right? I'm pretty sure I did 2021. 1,079,333. In a community like this, I'm gonna look at average price per square foot. But see what I love, guys? Days on market, 22. This could be a good equity letter. So now I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna go back to the criteria and I'm gonna look at Q1 last year. So, just go and change this. And I see that they had 2 homes. So right there, what did that tell me? More than double, 50% more of your neighbors have sold. Does that equal up to a good equity letter? So far, so good, right? Now let's see what the prices look like. Oh, sweet one. This is happy. Happy day. All right, let's look at this. Average close price is 712, 500. And average price per square foot is 188.97. So I could go either way. So if you talk about, the reason I might talk about price per square foot in this instance is because if they know that their neighbor sold for 1.6 and they have a brain in their head, they'll be like, well, of course, the average sales price is up because that one home sold, right? The reality is how many people are really going to get that? Probably not many. But when you've got a big differential like we do in the average sold price per square foot, that's $82 more per square foot, guys. That doesn't matter the size of the house, right? 82%. Oh, wait, hold on. 82 divided by, I didn't finish my work. Sorry. 82 divided by 188. That's 45% more price per square foot. Now this could get interesting. Then if I did the differential, 100. 7.2, 500. So now I'm subtracting the average sold price, which is a differential of $367,000. This could be a good equity letter. What could I say? Did you know that this year, in the first quarter of the year, more than 50% more of your neighbors have sold their home, right? In fact, not only did they sell, oh, we didn't look at average days on market. Oh my gosh, guys. This is ridiculous. Average days in market were 167. Wow,
167 to 21.
22.
22.
140. Now, in this instance, I don't think I would do the differential in the percentage. Well, I could. It sold, you could either say it sold 87% faster,
Yeah.
or you could say it sold for 145 days quicker. Either one is strong, right? What do you guys like better? Which one's stronger? What do you think?
80% faster.
If you equate that
87.
40 something days to months.
145.
5
5 months faster. I mean, that's pretty strong too.
And it also kind of sets them up in case it doesn't just go right away. Which you know that.
So here we go. This is based on your personality. And when people call you, you want to be able to always explain your equity letter. So if you use percentages and you're going to have trouble kind of explaining that, and you think it'd be easier for people to understand it sold 5 months faster, I mean, you don't really have to explain that, right? So you could go that either way. And then you could say, and on average for 45% more for price per square foot, which equaled a $367,000 increase for some of your neighbors. That is crazy, guys, right there. So you could go one or the other way. This is a really strong equity letter. Who's going to write this one? That's the question. Butler Bay. Who's going to take over Butler Bay? So I'm going to go into a letter, and I'm happy to share everybody. Oh, you know what? Can I upload to the Zoom? Oh, yeah.
Just drag it. You don't even have to.
Oh, really?
Just open up the tab, drag it in there.
All right, let's do this. Hold on. Let me. Well, here's the Buechler letter. I think we did that different. Buechler was different. Oh, let's see. Let's do the equity letter. I have a template. Equity letter. I have many templates. Would be nice to know which is the most recent. Let's see. No. Okay, let's do this. Options, remove all merge fields. Okay, let's see what we got here, guys. Is this a good one to send you? 18 numbers are recently sold, fax up. No, this is a different letter. That's not our time right now, guys. We're in the time of craziness where the numbers matter more. So we're gonna look at, okay. Prospecting letters. God. You would think I put it on here, right? Area prospect. No inventory. No, these are different letters. I have a lot of letters, guys. If anyone ever needs a letter, I've got the letters,
I'll
okay?
volunteer to organize them all. Like, the copy of them all.
Are you trying to say that mine are not organized?
No, you have a lot of letters.
All right. Is Teresa White on the call? Because Teresa, I'm going to steal this equity letter. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So now, let's see. Yes, this is the one. And then how do I drag this into the Zoom?
Right there, into the chat. You have the chat window open up already?
I did. Let's see. Let's go back to my Zoom. Oh, hold on. No, cancel. Let me see here. Yep. Chat. Okay. So guys, I'm going to throw this in here to the chat box for you. I mean, maybe that's what I'm trying to do. Where is the chat box now? Where'd it go? Yeah, but I can't do that. I don't see which one's the chat. How do I? Just gonna upload this. All right. Hang tight, guys, 1 second, but I want everybody to have one so we could do it together. Everybody feel good about that? No, too bad. No, just kidding. All right. Mhm. All right. Did everybody get it? Okay. So, did you know that 50% more of your neighbors in Butler Bay have sold their home in the first quarter of 2021 versus the same time in 2020? I think that's pretty clear. You guys like that? This is a new sentence I threw in. With an increase in qualified buyers, would you be surprised to learn the average sold for 50,000 more? I did that. Would you? In fact, not only did they sell in 5 months, not only did they sell 5 months quicker, but sell 5 months quicker. I'm going to bold that. But for an average of 45% more price in their price per square foot. That equals, so on average, some of your neighbors realized more than $367,000 more. Let's see if we like that. Your neighbors sold. What's 300 sold for? Average of. Bold that and 45% more bold that. Price per square. Oops, and do bold. Okay, what do you guys think? Now, in fact, not only did they sell 5 months quicker, but for an average of 45% more in their price per square foot. So on average, some of your neighbors sold for an average of, okay, so how about we say that means some of your neighbors, that means some of your neighbors sold for an average of 367,000 more. That's kind of strong. Would you be surprised to know that you could potentially have blank in equity right now? And then that makes it a question, right? You gotta always change these things. Let me do this file.
You put this on the mail, right?
We're gonna mail merge this, yeah. Equity training. Now I have this one. Did you like that, Tony? I did that for you to organize it.
I just follow the breadcrumbs.
I can send you another one. If you're interested in learning how we can maximize your equity by taking your property global, call, text, or email your global real estate advisor. This one's Jen Harnett. It could be anybody you want. To see how these recent sales have affected your home's value, visit. This could be a URL that we take them to how much your home is worth. This could be a URL or if you do the texting, this could be, a bit.ly if you had to go to a page that could be created that we show sold homes in their community. So it's how, and see how much your home is worth. So we can either bring it to the page we already have of how much your home is worth, or we can create a page for the community and add lead capture of how much your home is worth on that page. Follow me? Now, what would make the difference? The data. Like I was trying to do this with Luce yesterday, Luce, right? We were doing it and they didn't have enough sales to make a good page. right? If they have 2 homes, that's really not a captivating page. In that instance, we just sent them to how much is your home worth, right? But if it's a community where you have some good data, maybe 5, 10 homes, that's interesting. I'm gonna use the data and bring them there with lead capture and how much your home is worth, right?
Okay.
Because now they're gonna peek and look, and maybe they'll be even more intrigued to put their address in. Guys, follow me? So the more you can give them here, the better, but it only can work if you actually have data to show. Everybody good on that? Okay, so we saved this letter. So now, everybody feel comfortable with our letter? Now you have to decide a couple things. For me, I always decide, am I a hi, hello, or dear? If it's me, I'm a hi. But put it in your language. If you're a dear, go with dear. If you're a hi or hello, because it has to sound like you. You laugh, Tony. It's
No,
true.
I just said it's a private game.
Tony's having a private joke. I don't know if we should all be worried about this, but we'll leave it alone for now.
Kevin Hart.
Okay. So now let's go. So you all saw how I got the data, right? Any questions on that?
No.
No, you're just comparing a year over year.
Quarter. So depending on when we are, right? This first letter has got to be so attractive and interesting that we want to make sure that we hit them with something strong. If you don't have strong numbers, don't do an equity letter. It's worse sending out a letter that's bland, right? Than not sending a letter at all. I would go with a postcard or something.
Is there a certain number of homes that we should be looking for, like a threshold of sales?
If I am doing a farm, yes, a farm, I like at least 100 homes. Now, I'm not to say only, look, Valeria has 68 and I say farm that. If someone's not farming that, someone should be farming that.
Yeah.
Because that's good turnover at that price point. And the point about it is, more importantly, it's actually moving pretty well and the average price per square foot is good. But if it's a target, no. Because do we care if we hit 5 homes in a community? No, it's just 5 homes that we're sending a letter to, that we don't have to have 200 things in our sample size because we're sending a postcard, right? And what does it cost you? A stamp. You print it out here, you know what I mean? So I don't care if you have 5 in this community, 10 in this community, it doesn't matter, but it has to be a compelling letter. That's the important thing. Remember, target prospecting, different than farming. I think farming needs to be about that community, right? For them to look at it. If you're just general, oh, in Orlando, now nobody cares. But if you're specific to the community, people will look at it. So I even think farming needs to be specific. However, targeted prospecting is hyper specific. It can only, if it goes to Barbara, only Barbara will make sense to that. Because if it shows up at Amanda's door, she's going to be like, this is not even my address. So I don't even have this equity. That's the point of targeted prospecting. Okay, everybody with me?
Carrie, it's
Yeah.
Carolyn. Would you mind just doing a quick how you did pull the data? Like, you don't have to go through each of the menus, but just, I know you use one percentage versus the other. What, run through that real quick?
Sure. So for example, in Butler Bay, 4 homes sold this quarter versus the 2 homes that sold last quarter. So that's simple math, right? 50% more.
Right.
Then I look at average sold price per square foot. And I look for the closed price. I don't really care what it listed at. I care what it closed at. So I look at the average closed price average closed price, and I looked at the average sold price, not listed, I don't care, sold price per square foot. And the reason I do both is if it's a community where you have million+ homes in there and other homes, then it can obviously be a differential as to why the price per square foot, average price is up. One home can skew the whole neighborhood, but it doesn't skew the average sold price per square foot as much. So that's
with-
where,
With that being said, Carrie, you know the area that I want to farm, with the price being in the, upper 3s to million, how do you suggest?
I would do what we just did, compare sold price per square foot.
Okay,
And then if it's a big differential in the average sold price, you can mention it. Because we said some of your neighbors received maybe 365,000 more or whatever, right? We weren't saying all of your neighbors, because if the home is 300, obviously they're not getting 300,000 more. And if that differential is so huge, Carolyn, if it's 300 and the different price is 300, I wouldn't use that because it seems unrealistic. Although you might get interesting calls. You'd have to be prepared to handle those calls. They'll be like, I can double the price of my home. No.
Yeah.
So that's where you have to be. But what you could do is in the community where there's a big differential, you could also pull separately the lower price homes, the higher price homes, and actually separate your letters, you know?
So question,
Mhm.
would percentages not be, I mean, across the board, 42% more equity versus the other?
Well, so percentages, okay, I'm a big percentages person. I like percentages, but I'm going to share with you, a lot of people don't really get percentages. A little scary, really. Like
So what would you say, it's go for like 80 more or?
80, if I can, I'd like to say on average, $80,000 more. On average, 360,000 more. But it's easier. But again, in a community like Butler Bay, where I can tell you probably a lot of professionals in there, they're going to understand that if 1.6 million sold and their homes are selling at 600, it's not going to equate. It's going to throw those numbers off, which is why I broke out price per square foot, because that does mean something to them.
Yeah, because I mean, if you get this community's got homes in it, you don't buy a home for $400,000 more if you didn't pass the percentage.
Yeah, exactly. So but if they're foreign, if you have a lot of foreigners in there, they're not going to get it.
Yeah.
Because it's tricky in English to understand it. And if you're, translating in your mind, you may not make that. And then if they have to think so hard, the letter's useless. Right? The whole point of the letter is that they go, wow, not what does this mean? Well, hold on, let me figure out the math. That's, if they do homework, your letter is failed, right? So if you're sending to Casabella, for example, in Windermere, where it's predominantly Brazilians, don't use percentages like that. You could say 50% more of your neighbors. That's a clear one. But like with average price per square foot, I don't even know if that translates really well direct, right? Equity, plusvalía, that's the word, but is it, right? Plusvalía, maybe. I mean, there's really no good word for equity.
More money. Más dinero.
Vende para más dinero. Mejor. Okay, but you guys get my point. So Carolyn, now to figure out those numbers, for example, in the closed price per square foot, I subtracted from the 1,079,000 and change the 712,500. That came up with a difference of 367,000. I then took that difference, 367, and divided it by 712.
Okay, got it.
And the reason I did that's how I get the percentage. But you have to get the difference, and then you want to divide it by last year, right? Not this year.
Okay,
Divided by this year, it doesn't work.
great.
That's the percentage difference. Everybody clear on that? Was a great question, Carolyn. I go through so fast with this math because, well, I am good at math, but as long as we're not doing calculus BC or something, then forget it, I'm useless. But but I am really good at percentages because that's how we get paid. So and also I like to shop sales. So I can always tell you what percentage of what percentage. I know what I'm paying on that deal. So, but not everybody thinks like that, right? So we have to make the information as bite-sized and as easily absorbable as possible. Any questions anymore before we move on? Everybody good? So you pick a community. We did a quick way of how you could pick a community. We also looked at the difference between the farm community and the equity community, right? Then we went and we compared some data that we can talk about. So again, because we're in almost May, crazy, it's good to look at Q1 versus Q1 if you can. But if you can't, it's too late to say 2020 compared to 2019. They're like, we're already like way past 2020. By the way, most people want to forget 2020, right? So it's a little too late, right? You would have had to do that before Q1 ended. So this is, but now the next letter, right? We may go, what are we going to talk about now? So now we may want to talk about, for example, the zip code, what the zip code is doing, compare it to their community. Because their community might be ahead of what the zip code is doing. So, and then you might want to, for the third letter, compare Windermere to Winter Garden, for example, and then remind them how much better their community is doing even beyond those, right? So sometimes we got to get a little creative, but hopefully by the next letter, we've got more data to talk about Q2. Because my goal is to send these monthly.
Question.
Yeah.
in your attempts to send these monthly, would it not be a good idea to maybe create a, where you have the PS at the bottom of the letter? Just
Mhm.
kind of create a little QR code there, for.
I love the QR code.
Okay, good.
It depends on the community you're sending it to. Like Luce and I were talking about a community yesterday where a lot of old people live. Right, Liz?
So that's-
They don't text and they're not gonna QR. They're gonna be like, what the hell is this squiggle thing? It's just gonna be useless. You've got to know your audience, right? Because again, it could be really cool and really tech savvy, but you could be hitting the wrong audience.
Gotcha.
Right, to that point. So also too, if you speak Portuguese, you might want to do the letter in English and Portuguese or English and Spanish if you're like in Casabella, where we know predominantly Brazilians live, right? But only do it if you're a native speaker, or if you're not, get someone else who is a native speaker to write it, because this kind of information can be very easily misunderstood.
Or
Right.
they call you if you don't speak Portuguese.
Oh, yeah. And don't write it in Portuguese if you don't speak Portuguese. Yeah.
Let's keep that out.
Bom dia! What? It's not good, right? Not bad. Okay. Right. So we're all good. We're moving on to step 2, yeah? Or step 3. I don't know what step we're on, but everybody good? We're moving on.
Yeah.
Next step is we go into remind. We need to get the list, right? So we hit search. Now, which we had to do for Luce yesterday, in some instances, communities don't show up here. Doesn't mean we can't search the data, just means we have to use this little cool octagonal thing and draw the community. What, Tony, you didn't know you could do that?
I'm just having my Mary's map drawing flashbacks.
Oh, say no more. Okay, so I'm gonna look Butler Bay. And let's see if it's the right community. Oh, that's not the right community. Butler Bay. Well, let's look under neighborhoods. Ah, where'd it go? Ah. Butler Bay. Let's get rid of the W. Orlando metro area. So here is Butler Bay. That's probably about accurate too. Would you guys agree with that? Okay, so I'm gonna clear all filters. I'm gonna have to do Butler Bay again. Oh, let me move this down here. I'll move this a second. All right, so I'm gonna do Butler Bay one more time. Whatever you put in here last, guys, will hold. By the way, it's better. It's okay if you're always using the same thing, right? A lot of times we're gonna use the same search criteria, but for purposes of what we're doing now, I want you to see what I'm doing. So 146 results. So first thing we need to do is add the status, right? We want things that are off market. We might want something withdrawn. I would say normally I hate withdrawn, but because of COVID, they could have withdrawn it. And that doesn't mean anything other than the fact that they were uncomfortable or whatever, right? Hold, no. Expired, absolutely. Closed, canceled. I might do canceled. Again, usually I hate canceled too, but they could have canceled because of COVID. Canceled is no. Withdrawn conditionally. So yeah, maybe the withdrawn. Let's take the withdrawn out. You're right. Let's do canceled because you're right. What if it pulls withdrawn conditionally and then we don't double check it? And then you have a code of ethics violation. Let's do that. Good thinking, Amanda. Thank you. We don't want pending for sure, and we definitely don't want active. So that's changed our numbers, not much at all. 145. Excellent. Now, to me, I like to do this differently. You don't have to. I like to do owner occupied and send to those people. But and then if I pull the people who are absentee in state and out of state, I might write their letter a little different. Right? Because I might say, are you aware of what's happening in Windermere? In fact, this is how it compares to your neighborhood. I would probably go there because if they're living somewhere else, especially out of state, they probably have no clue what's happening here. Right? So if you just send this, it's almost like, you're on the first date and you're asking them to get married, right? You're jumping too far ahead. You're missing too many steps. So that's why I like to do this differently. But you might say, I don't care. I want to send the same letter to everybody. So go right ahead. You do what you want to. But I'm going to go ahead and say owner occupied, apply. And let's see what it does to our number. Yeah, no, it's so long. It's just a long time. 110. So what does that tell me? 30 some odd people don't live there. That is definitely enough for me to create a new list and do a new letter. For sure, I would. But again, you might say, I just want to send the same letter to everybody. You can. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm just going to say, in my opinion, you're missing a step, but that's me. Okay, then I'm going to say ownership time.
You send different letters if they're in state or out of state?
I usually don't. If they're in state or out of state, if they're national, I usually don't send letters internationally either. I mean, if I would try their email, but I do have agents that send it internationally and do well. So, but I just feel like our mail is bad enough. Imagine trying to go out of the country. Geez, I don't even know if they'll ever get it. I mean, I don't.
It takes like weeks, months.
Yeah,
Right now.
maybe next month they'll get it, but our market's totally changed, right? Like,
My sister in England got her Christmas card from me last month.
oh, she just got her Christmas card last month. Excellent. So that's
So I-
about a 3-month delay to England.
Exactly.
Just so you know. Okay, so I'm gonna say 2 years, right? Because capital gains is 2 years. Not to say there could be communities where you're finding people are moving sooner, but make sure you understand the HOA rules, right? Like in Laureate Park, you have to live here at least a year or there's big penalties. Oh, big penalties, like thousands of dollar penalties. Well, there are exceptions that you can, but you'd have to go through the whole exception process. Yeah. Kim Horvath could share that with us. We've had to deal with that. All right, so now we are here, and this brings us down to 75. Personally, I feel comfortable. Could we do home equity? Yeah, we could. Could we do property value? If you're in a community, to Carolyn, your point, I would pull this property value, my list for, say, your community, I would pull it into 2 separate lists because I would be writing 2 separate letters. And that's where I would do that. Got it? But we're not going to do it for this purpose. And to me, 75 is fine. Now, the only better step that we cannot do that we need a title company for is to remove realtors. That is the best. I don't know about you guys, but I have never seen any other realtor, unless they've ever worked for me, write an equity letter. Yeah, it's because it's a Carrie creation. Done by Carrie. I mean, this is the way, because in the builder world, we always were thinking outside the box. So every time I create a new marketing technique, it's to be different and think outside the box. This is not something I ever learned in any training from any, and I've been in a lot of trainings. I've never had another trainer talk about this. So we really want other agents, especially outside of our company, using our letters. I really don't. So if we have the opportunity to ask a title company to give us this list, it's better. You can say the same thing, owner occupied, at least 2 years, that kind of thing. But what's cool about that is that we'll remove the realtors. Okay, enough said with that. Huh?
How do they know?
CoreLogic is the thing that they have with all the data. They can even pull by occupation. If you're just trying to pull doctors, they could pull by kids if they have kids certain ages. Yeah, they can do that. Well, we're not allowed to say they can discriminate, Amanda. No, but they can filter. We're gonna call it filtering. Discriminate. Fair housing much? It's Fair Housing Month right now. Thank you. That was you brought it up on purpose. You wanted everybody to be aware that it is Fair Housing Month. Right, Barbara? Okay, so I'm gonna save my search. By the way, I'm gonna call this search Butler Bay. Okay. Save my search. Although Luce and I were having trouble, we saved the search and we couldn't find it. So I hope that it goes somewhere easy to find. I don't know. I may have to look back at that. But in this case, I have it saved. And then I'm gonna add it to my cart. So to add it to my cart, I must select them all. Okay, so you see that little button right there? You have to select them all. And then you just hit cart. Now, you have to create a cart and Butler Bay. They have to be connected for some bizarre reason. It can't have a space. So you hit create Butler Bay, add 75 to the cart. Success. Woo! There we go. So it will go into this cart right here. So if I click on carts, it's not there yet, but I have a bazillion there. Oh, it is there. Wow, that was quick. It's already there. But it doesn't have all the information yet. Maybe it does. Okay, so you usually get the alert down here that it's ready. So then you would want to select them all and hit export. I'm going to name my file Butler Bay. And this is important right here. You have to make sure you're picking the right fields because look what they have here. I've already created this column. You could say all columns, but these are the columns that I have chosen to pull out. Property address, owner information, estimated value, sales score, gross area square feet, bedrooms, bathrooms, lot square foot, list price, subdivision, year built, equity. You've got to make sure equity's in there. You can either create this or you can download all of them. It's just that I do so many of these lists, it's getting really annoying to have to keep deleting these things. So I just created my own columns and then I made it my default, right? That's what I did.
You want all that? You did.
I like it all because this way, no matter what my letter is going to be about, I can always go back. Like maybe I want to talk to people who only have lot sizes above a certain point. That's why I pull lot sizes.
Does it have pools?
I don't know. You have to look at your list. But most of the stuff I really didn't care about. These are the things that for me, I would care about if I wanted to. And it's mostly because maybe I want to do a mailing to all people who have lots over a certain size or certain size homes or, you know, and that way I could use my spreadsheets to just do a little query thing. Exactly. Everybody with me? Okay, and I use the property address and the mailing address because if I want to do people who don't live in the home, I'm going to use the mailing address, but I always need to remember what property it's associated with. I made that mistake. I was like, oh, let's just do the mailing address. And then I was like, what property is it for? I don't even remember. So got to make sure you have that column in there too. All right, everybody good? Then I hit export. All right, well, notify me and oh, that's where my alert goes. Sorry, I forgot. That's the alert. Once its download is ready, it goes to alerts. Alerts right here. See this alerts? Reunion is ready. That's for the downloads. I don't know what the heck. I even drank my coffee. Guys, I have no excuse. I just have no excuse. I don't know why I was thinking that had to do with the cards. And this has to do with your sports. So you'll get a little alert here. And then we're going to create a mail merge. Are we ready for the mail merge? This is exciting. We're getting a whole letter done, right? Are you guys impressed? I'm impressed with you. Does anybody have questions while we're waiting for that to process?
With this information, are we able, will it pull email addresses?
Yes.
So we could.
Yes,
basically create
emails,
all
phone numbers.
that.
Oh yeah, we're gonna so great question. He asked if it's gonna do emails. It gives you emails, phone numbers. We want to upload this direct into my hub. And we want to, if this is my community, now it depends. If I'm just target prospecting, I might not care. But if it's a farm, then what I want to do is make sure some of my marketing matters. So every time I'm using my $200 credit, I don't care if I sold a home in Kissimmee or St. Cloud. If my community is Butler Bay, I'm farming, I'm going to always send them just sold and how I helped the person. Because it's not going to say where they live other than their street address, which nobody knows. I mean, there's streets in my community. I'm like, what was the name of that? Yeah, I mean, nobody knows really. So it's a good thing to be able to keep showing them, look, I've just sold. And you don't even have to put the price point. So you can put a fabulous pool and maybe it was a $350,000 home, but they happen to have a fabulous pool, right? So unless it's totally different, then I may not send it to Balearia, right? Where all the homes were over $1 million.
Like I wouldn't send my condo.
So you, right, don't send your condos to Balearia. Good place. Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, well, you could say just sold to investors as a blanket sale. Now that would be a good message, right?
Mhm.
I like it. Thank you, Amanda. All right, my download is ready. Woohoo! So we're gonna hit download. Now here's the trick that I find, especially when I'm working with a lot of people. You gotta know where it goes. Because it sounds silly, but a lot of people are like, okay, we had this issue. Where the heck is the file? Rainy, I know we've had that issue multiple times.
Would you email these people anything or not necessarily?
You can, but for the purposes of this, no, I would start with the equity letter. I think the equity letter is the strongest. And then from that point, yes, I could put them on a drip or what have you, I could do those things, but I would start with the equity letter. All right, so we have that downloaded. So now we're gonna go back into Word. We're back in our thing. And I'm gonna delete these fields for now, just so you see how to create them. Okay, so I'm gonna hit now. Here's a really unfortunate but true thing. If you don't have the Microsoft version of Word and Excel, you're out of luck. I have not found a way to mail merge numbers and sheets, or numbers and sheets, or no, numbers and whatever the word thing is. I have not got that to work. And I don't find in the Google online version easy to mail merge either.
No.
So I don't even know if it's a possibility. I have never been able to do it. So if there's a guru on this call, please share if you've been able to do it from one of those platforms. I have not. I have only up to this point been able to do my mail merging from Microsoft products, which is kind of stupid and weird, but that's pretty smart on their part, right? They make sure that everybody, has to buy it. Okay, so I'm going to hit mailings. Now, you can hit start mail merge and hit letters, but really it's already done for you. You don't really have to do that. You used to have to. The most important thing is select recipients. By the way, I just want to point this out. It just takes you right down what you need to do. You just start from left all the way over, right? So you're going to hit select recipients. You're going to say use existing list because you have one, you downloaded it. Now, before we do that, I'm going to go over here to the list that we did download. Let's take a peek. Let's open it real quick. I recommend doing this. Here's Butler Bay. Okay. Let's open that up. Okay, so why did I do this? Well, number one, I wanted to make sure that it's not all caps. And look, it is. You know how bad it looks in a letter if some things are all caps and some things are sentence case? It looks terrible. So we have to clean the spreadsheet up before we get started.
Is there automatically do that?
Yes, good question, Amanda.
I literally went from do that. Like I just found my letter. marked,
You
and
should
then
have called me. Yeah, if you guys have questions about Excel, I'm pretty good at Excel. Call me. Okay, there you go. So I'm going to insert a column. Okay, I'm going to use a property address because that's the whole first line. I'm going to copy the property address and put it over here. I need my header, right? And then the easiest way is to hit formulas. Okay. And then hit formulas.
Just select the whole line or not.
Just select the one thing, have it in there. And then you're going to say text proper. Now you see it pops over here. So it says right here, text proper. Then you select your text.
Where's the formula?
Formulas is up at the top. You see page layout formulas, home, insert, draw, page layout formulas. Okay. Then you hit the text one and you get this little box that pops up. You select proper. See when you use text, select proper. Can't see it right now because it's already open. And then it'll open this little box over here. And then since you're already here, proper's added there and you just select your text. So you just click on the text you want and then you hit done. Voila! Beautiful. Okay. Questions on that?
Maybe copy formula.
Copy formula. No.
Oh,
Then you copy this formula and you paste it all the way down.
You just go to the bottom right-hand corner with the black plus sign and just drag it and automatically populates those.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
If you go front, so the top.
Okay.
And cell B2.
Why did it not do that?
B2, if you hover the mouse over the very end of that corner, the lower right-hand corner of that,
I don't know.
and then watch the cursor turn to a black X.
What are you talking about?
Yep. Oh,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, all the way down and do it automatically.
But it'll copy it? I didn't hit copy
It'll-
paste.
It'll convert all of those, watch.
All right, let's see. Tony's teaching us an Excel trick. Hang on, let's do it. Let's do it. That makes it easier for me. Tony, you are my favorite. But there's still formulas, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you want to hit Control C or copy. And you want to paste special and paste the values. So now these are not formulas. They're all values. You have to do that. So again, we'll do another one so you'll get to see it. And then, so I don't screw up, I delete that column. Gone. Okay? So that's the first one. Windermere, we can keep capital. Florida, we can keep capital. But I can guarantee we'll have to probably do their names. So we go back over here. And, oh, another thing I'm going to do before I get to names is my equity. Equity is right here.
Format cells.
I'm going to format my cells. So I'm going to right click. Everybody with me? I'm going to say format cells. I'm going to say currency. I don't want any decimals, but I do want a dollar sign. I'm going to say, okay. Now, when I paste that in, it's going to look so much better than it just comes in as a number. Okay. So that's nice. So we're fixing the address, the mailing address, fixing the equity so that it'll have the proper, you know, dollar sign and nice formatting. And now we want to go over to owner first name. So owner full name, owner last name, owner first name, middle name, who cares? I'm just going to delete that middle name because I don't even care about it. Get rid of it.
They probably hate the middle name anyway.
Yeah, they probably hate it. I hate mine. Okay. So I'm going to insert this again, another column. I'm going to paste that. So I have that. Now I'm going to do exactly what Tony said about the copying. So I click on the empty spot. I hit the proper, right? Insert function. Now I'm going to click on the text that I want to fix. I'm going to say done. What? So easy. And now my new Tony trick. I'm going to, oops, no, I'm going to do that. Tony trick.
There you go. It's gotta be black.
It's got to be black. There it is. I love that. That's a great trick. I guess I'm too old school. They never taught me that fun one. Sweet. And I'm going to say Control C to copy, right click, say paste special, and put in the values. I'm going to say that. I'm going to delete this column because I don't care about it. So I now have the first name. I want to do the same thing with the owner last name. Now you don't have to get it to this level, but I like to. Okay.
This is,
Huh?
this is my jam. This is
Yeah.
my-
Again, insert function, get the text, say done. Let's do the fun little, it's much quicker with the Tony trick. Makes it so much nicer. Oops. Okay, Control C, paste special, and we do values. Like that, got rid of this. So now we have the first one. Now notice we have owner's emails. Now, I don't care about their first name. I have emails, I have phone numbers. So before I upload this into my hub, I'm not going to do it now. We could do another class if you want to how to learn how to do this. But I'm going to, actually what I like to do, separate this into different columns through formulas. Okay. And then what I do the same thing with emails, and then anything that I couldn't fit, because you have to see how many spaces you have in my hub. You have like phone number one, you have like mobile, home, business, whatever. You can fit as many as you can fit in there. You have to match the name of the actual merge fields, but then you might have only 1 or 2 emails and you have 4. So I create a comments, it's called comments. It's like that one little catch-all. And I add all that data that I wanted to have in that file. So that way, when I bring it into my hub, it all lives in everybody's folder. Got it? But that's another class for another day. But right now, we're just doing our equity letter. So let's finish this baby up. So we don't care about that one. Now I want owner 2 first name. So we're going to do that real quick. Let's delete this. Let's just clear these. Okay, so we're going to do this really quickly. We're going to hit a blank space. We're going to say insert function, grab our text, say done, do the Tony trick.
No, you didn't. block it.
I didn't black box it.
Oh, no.
I missed the Tony trick. Ah, there it is. Okay, got it. All right. Control C. Paste special, values. So you guys will be like, I know how to do this. I heard her say it 50 times. Delete. Now it doesn't matter if you can see it or not. We know what we're doing. The last thing we need is our last name. gonna insert a column, do the same last thing, ready? Insert function, grab the text, hit done. Tony trick. Okay. Everyone's gonna say the same thing, Tony. So I did the Tony trick.
I'm good with it. I may or may not have created some complicated spreadsheets in my
I see that you have. You're probably like me, pivot table king, right? I love my pivot tables.
in macros.
Oh, I love macros. Love macros. Mhm. Okay, yeah, we're talking geek right now. So anybody like, yeah. Okay, that's all I need for my letter. So I'm gonna save it. Make sure you save your spreadsheet. Okay, now I'm gonna go back into, this is really important. I'm gonna reassign my spreadsheet to this because it may be the old spreadsheet it is attached to. And when I say old, I mean unedited version. So I'm just gonna go back to select recipients, choose an existing list. I'm gonna pick on my downloads, Butler Bay. I'm gonna say, okay. And there we go. So now we know it's merged properly. So now I'm gonna go ahead and insert my merge field. You guys see this? So I say, first thing I need to do is, I gotta look for owner first name. Owner first name, space. Insert field. Owner first last name. Now, you might be an and, you might be an ampersand. I'm an ampersand kind of gal, so I'm gonna put an ampersand, but you could put an and. Then I'm gonna insert owner two first name. Owner two first name. And I'm gonna put in insert, and you'll see why I do this with two people. Owner two, where's my last name? Uh-oh. Auto merge field, that's probably it. We'll see if that's it. I might have forgot to save the name of that folder. Okay, and then I'm gonna put in property address, space. I'm gonna put in city, comma, space, state, space, zip code, probably zip 5. All right, now here you'll see why I do that. Because I'm gonna now say insert owner one first name, ampersand, because that's my kind of thing, but you could write and. And then I'm gonna say insert owner two first name, comma. Aha, because otherwise it's gonna say, hi, Tony Tate and Sherry Tate, right? So now there's also another thing if you're cleaning up your database. Another thing I sometimes do is if owner one and owner two have the same last name, I delete the last name from owner one last name. So that way you just don't get anything merged there. That's another way to clean up your database. If this is, if this is something that you're, when you're gonna be using every month, the cleaner your databases, the less work you have to do fixing your letters. So for me, I'd rather go clean up the database, and that way, every time I send it out, it'll be easy. But we're not gonna do that right now because we're over time and I wanna make sure I get this done. So now I'm gonna go back to this equity spot. Make sure I have spaces around it. I'm gonna say insert equity. Equity, there it is. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and say preview results. Oh, dang it. Now, I forgot to change Windermere. So something I could do, I could go back and fix my database, which if it were me, I probably would do that. But I'm not going to do that for the moment. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to say finish and merge to edit individual documents. Never just print because you got to always clean these. That is a weird new thing I've been getting. That was super strange. So now we see that all these people live in Windermere, right? So all I can do, that would be a very quick fix, is I can hit Command F, which is find, type in Windermere, and then I'm gonna say with this little drop down, replace it with Windermere, see? And I just hit replace all, and now, thank you, they're all fixed. Except for the first one. Why did that one not get fixed?
Because your cursor was technically behind it.
Versus was in the second one, I think.
No, none of them got fixed. They said they were all fixed. Replace all. Okay, well done. Well done. Where is it? That's super weird. You guys ever seen that? Okay, that has never happened to me. Oh, you know what? Hold on, let me delete this. No, why did it not fix it? Engineer,
You did a control F.
Yeah.
too.
replace all. All done, we made 75 replacements. Great, where are they? Okay, so that shouldn't have happened, but that's how you do it. But if that is a problem, because whatever's happening, your system is doing weird things, you can always close that one out. You don't have to save that file because we can say don't save. What you want to save is your template, right? Because this is the one you can always mail merge from. But if it was me, because I am anal, I would come back over here and I can say Control F in here. This is another way to do it.
Yeah, that's another way to do it.
And do Windermere just like I just did. Replace with. So this stuff works in all. Okay. Close. And now look, it's done here. I also can fix my owner to last name because I obviously didn't put them in. Last name, so I can fix that field too because that would bother me. Okay, and now it looks pretty good. Now again, what I was saying is if I see, and now this is another thing you can do. I can sort right here. So I'm gonna add data filters. Everybody know how to do a data filter? Of course you do. So I hit sorts. Now I could just sort A to Z, or I can add filters. But if I sort A to Z, for example, sort. Now it's an easy thing for me to say, oh, look, they're the same last name. And I might just move this whole column right next to it, or not. It's gonna really annoy me. Insert. Owner. Insert. And then I can see, oh, look at this, owner one, owner two. I can see that this is the same. I can delete it. So this is a much quicker way to go and clean up your database. Like, look, same. Wow, a lot of these are the same. These are very standard people. Okay, let's see, Fetters, Rare, Gag, Gerson, good. So this is, see, this doesn't take you very long now to go through and fix this. Now we're not gonna do them all, but we'll just do a couple. Okay, so now I'm gonna hit save. But again, I have to go and reattach my spreadsheet, because if you don't, you'll be like, why the heck is this thing not working? It's still attached to the old data. So you have to say use existing list again. You have to go back to that list, and reattach it. Make sure you saved it too, okay? It's never good if you didn't. And now you can hit view results. And you can see Anna and George. Oh, I took out the second last name though,
Yeah.
but
Because it's a CSV and not an Excel file, that's why I didn't do that. When you try to do it on the Word side.
well, usually, and then like, for example, if you see this one only has one person, right? So I would find and replace, Control F, and I would find space, ampersand, space, right? And then I would say replace with nothing, replace all. See that? And now I just took away all those. So it's an easy way, that find and replace, to clean up your letters.
Is your best friend.
It's your best friend. Everybody with me?
Mhm.
So that's how you clean up your letter. This is, and you just print it. And guys, handwrite your envelopes.
You do regular size or different size?
For this, I usually do like a regular size because otherwise the paper folds weird. I mean, if you could be really cool and creative and figure out how to fold the paper in another way that looks cool and is a different size, even better. I think people will open unusual sizes more, but you don't want the paper to look like you put it in 4. That looks stupid.
Yeah.
I've seen people do that.
The handwrite the envelope.
They do this. And then they,
Terrible handwriting.
well, you can print it, but see, then you put this in, but it looks weird. All right, so let's stop my share for now and go into questions. This Q&A time, guys. All right. Anybody who has a question about anything we did? This, by the way, you can all thank Lucy if you got anything out of this. This was her idea. I did this class.
Yes.
Yay.
Thank you,
We
Liz.
could do this for expired letter as well then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've been manually printing.
Sorry. Poor Rafe has been manually printing his expireds too. Wow, okay. So this is how you do an expense letter. This is how you get your list in your mind. This is how you actually mail merge it. Any questions that we've already created from start to finish, you can, this is being recorded, Lord help us all. So I'll upload it to my YouTube channel today. So if you want to go back and slow my voice down, make me sound drunk. But you can- Uh-huh.
I didn't see it, and if I missed, I apologize, but the Remind, are you able to upload an Excel file in Remind?
No,
Okay.
but why would you want to?
I mean, I know it's pulling data, but I guess what I was trying to figure out is, I did the opposite thing for my marketing matters, and I actually took out the list of all the renters and investors from my do not mail list. So basically, everybody on my list is not,
Do-
the do not mail. So
Oh,
I
whoopsie.
did the
You
opposite,
need to
so I
flip
gotta
it.
go- I gotta flip my data in. I didn't know. if
Ask
Remind was-
Mode, she might be able to help you.
Okay.
Anybody else have a question?
How did you take all the realtors again?
The only way to take out realtors, we can't do it. We don't have access. Go ask a title company if they could run the list of a community.
Oh, the title company. Oh.
Title companies can do it.
They
Will
can
title
transfer.
companies do it? Not all of them. But if you work with the title company, they'll usually do it for you. Mhm.
Yeah.
There are title companies that are like, I don't even know what that is. I'm like, what?
It's the marketing again.
Yeah, break, right? So some companies are, more versed and some companies more adept in helping. So any other questions? Did anybody learn anything? Nobody? No.
We have to have word, we have
Because
to.
I get letters from realtors all the time.
Yeah, of course. Anything good we can steal?
I usually look to see if I can see.
Of course you do. And I would too. Yeah, but we don't want people taking these letters because they're good and they work. And especially if they're in the community that you're targeting, right? That's never a good thing. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks all for joining. And we'll be doing a new Top Gun on Monday. Do we have any requests about what kind of information you guys want me to teach on Monday? Monday.
I shared how to do a mail merge with pages and others in the chat. I sent them.
Oh, good. See if they can do it. That's cool. I just can't support it. Yeah, how to get more listings. So, let me think on that. Anybody else have a suggestion about what kind of training you guys want me to do on Monday?
You were
Okay.
just saying something during that training that we didn't have time for. I can't remember it, but
Oh, it was actually how to, we could continue this or we could continue this next week. But well, next week is sales meeting, but, on Thursday. But what we could do is I could continue on Monday on how to then take these lists that we just downloaded and get them ready for my hub and get them ready for my Marketing Matters. You guys want to do that?
that was it. Yeah.
So this is kind of now we've gone real estate to Excel, but the reality is this is how you get the data to then use the data in Hub that will then go into Active Pipe. And now they'll be rolling out the new Active Pipe
Right.
things. So you'll be able to say seller or potential or sphere or whoever you want to. So the more you have in your database, the better. Right? Okay, guys. Well, thanks for coming. Great seeing you all. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.